basic training is 8 weeks of taking people who don't know military discipline and teaching it. And all forms of PT, rifle practice, fighting, basic stuff. And then advanced infantry goes further. That's when you stay in the infantry and you really get into the infantry games. I learned far more at advanced infantry than I did. I asked for it, I asked for Vietnam. I asked for infantry. I did not want to end up in the rear. I wanted to end up in the front line.
I was a recent high school graduate. I really wasn't sure what direction I wanted to go into life. And I knew that we were in a conflict in Vietnam at the time and felt an obligation to prepare myself for the future in some way and also to give some assistance to the country. And I felt the best way to do that was to join the military.
At the time that I graduated, it seemed to me that you had three choices, okay? You could have gone on to college, or you could have gotten a job, or you could have joined the military. At the time, the military was an honorable sort of profession and something honorable to do.
My uncle, who I dearly loved, had told me, you need some discipline. You need more discipline. You need to be able to do some kinds of things that you're not doing here, and the Army's the place to go. Go there and grow up.
At 6 o'clock in the morning, after being up all night, because of course it was my last night as a civilian, so I got good and drunk the night before, good and wasted and all the rest of that. So I'm hungover and I'm 17 years old and getting yelled at by people I don't know. That's how it started.
They take away all your identity by starting at the top. Then they take away all the clothes you came in with. And they issue all identical clothing, everywhere from the underwear to the cover you're wearing on your head.
And they instill the fact in you pretty strongly that you're government property, and if you don't follow their dictates and everything else, that they kind of threaten you. That at the end of the threat, there's the possibility that not so much to get thrown out of the service in dishonorable discharge, but that you could go to Leavenworth if you didn't do things right.
You understood that you were basically going to give it all up, and so as long as you weren't being abused physically somehow, I was going to be able to handle whatever they threw at me.
I expected to get up early, like maybe 8 o'clock, 8:30, and maybe they would kind of like ease us into the process or whatever, but it didn't end up like that.
It's just, you're getting up early, you're active early, you're physically active early. Like I say, we had this run right at the beginning of the day, and that got your body really going. So you were exercising like crazy even before you had any kind of a breakfast.
Well, boot camp is a process, and it's like anything else. Whether you're a weight trainer or anything, you break something down to build it back up again.
Guys in uniforms screaming and yelling at you and cursing at you and telling you to move here and go there and do this and do that. And
you actually had stereo drill instructors. You had one in each ear most of the time. And they tried to confuse you. They tried to make you commit errors.
I wasn't really clear on what his orders were and what he was telling us to do. And they were real rapid fire. And, every now and then you could hear the word asshole or puke or, whatever. Your ass is mine. And, that part I got.
We get a lot of physical training, but they also give you time to rest in between. That's what classes are for. After the strenuous physical training, you have classes and things like that so your body can recuperate.
It was hard to sit and listen to some of those sergeants try to lecture on certain things, because they could be just terrible speakers. So you're sort of like, oh, brother, do I have to listen to a lesson on this? And, it could be about how to maintain your uniform, how to clean your weapon, or something, more about military justice, or something about the code of conduct. There were all kinds of things that they could give you these little seminars on.
In retrospect, you can see how when the military trains you, how it's all designed to instill that kind of, blind obedience to orders, never leaving a buddy behind, helping someone out. You can see how all that stuff works, how they put that into you.
And there would be other things that we would do too, that of course where you got the early understanding of how inefficient the military can be, which would be, there's nothing for you guys to do right now, but we can't have you just standing around, so you will police the area and pick up any rocks bigger than a quarter.
Did it help me, and do I regret it? I do not regret it, and it absolutely helped me. It taught me, how to how to wash my clothes, how to iron my clothes, had to learn how to make a bed, to learn how to establish and form a relationship with individuals that in a million years I never would have thought I had anything in common with and never would have had a relationship with. You know, it taught me how to depend upon the, you know, the advice and the help of other people. You know, things like that. That was pretty, that's pretty invaluable stuff.
By the time I graduated, I had no doubt that these Marines were going to take care of my back. They were going to watch me. And I also knew that if I went up this trail and something happened to me up there, they were going to recover me one way or another. And that's a good feeling.
It was a kind of a process of self-fulfillment in a certain way, and kind of coming to grips with things when I was a young man, really young man. And basic training was the jump start for all of that. And then it also kind of the toughness. I'm definitely, I can handle things. I can get up and go. And I think that was a good value that was reinforced by the military. I think most guys who were in the service would tell you that.